The moment the billionaire collapsed to his knees in the middle of the empty boardroom, clutching the last folder he owned, the janitor stepped closer, gently placed a hand on his shoulder, and whispered, "Sir Broken Bar, you forgot this one paper." That single sentence would change both their lives forever. Before we begin, Dostor Broken Bar, if this hook already grabbed your heart, like the video right now, sit back, and watch till the end. The Kyunki Ajki story Apko Ansaniyat, Amid, or second chances Parpa or Yakin Delegi. And if you're new here, subscribe. Hamaisi real emotion stories. Harazlate Hain. Adrian Cole wasn't just any billionaire. For years, tabloids called him the king of steel sky, because his construction empire built airports, bridges, and skylines across continents. He had private jets, global partners, and a reputation for turning dust into gold. But behind that glory hid a man who hadn't slept more than 2 hours a night in years. A man who poured everything into his empire because he had nothing else left. No wife, no children, no one waiting for him at home. His company was his family. Then came the night that shattered everything. It started with a single phone call. His CFO trembling, stumbling over words he never imagined he'd ever hear. Fraud, siphoned funds, illegal transactions. A broken bar, all signed under Adrian's name. Someone had set him up, and the board believed the worst. By sunrise, the empire he built for 30 years collapsed like a house of glass. Banks froze his accounts, investors walked away, and media vultures camped outside his gates. Within 24 hours, the billionaire became a man with nothing but a reputation in ruins and a briefcase containing the legal documents of his downfall. That night, he returned to his skyscraper one last time, not as the owner but as a man saying goodbye. The building was quiet. His portraits, once proudly hanging on every floor, were already taken down. Boxes stood half-packed by employees who avoided eye contact. Even the security guard who used to salute him every morning kept his head down. Adrian walked into the top-floor boardroom. The place where he closed million-dollar deals now felt like a tomb. He placed the final folder on the table and exhaled, trying to accept the reality. 30 years. A broken bar gone in a day. That's when he heard the soft sound of wheels rolling, an old cleaning cart pushed by a gray-haired janitor named Samir. Samir had worked there for 18 years. He never spoke much, but he always nodded respectfully when Adrian passed. Adrian barely noticed him before. Why would a billionaire notice the janitor who cleaned trash bins? But tonight, Samir's gentle eyes studied him with something no one else had shown him all the kindness. "Tough night, sir?" Samir asked softly. Adrian forced a smile. "The toughest." Samir looked at the scattered papers, the trembling hands, the broken man who once owned half the city. He stepped inside, but politely kept distance. "I've seen you walk these halls with the weight of the world on your shoulders, but told a broken bar, it looks like the world walked out on you." Adrian didn't know why, but something broke inside him. Maybe because Samir wasn't asking for anything. Maybe because he wasn't judging. Maybe because he simply cared. For the first time all day, Adrian allowed a single tear to fall. Samir waited silently, then pointed at a sheet of paper lying under a chair. "Sir, you forgot this one paper." Adrian picked it up without even looking. "Doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore." But Samir gently shook his head. "Sir, sometimes the paper we think is useless, a broken bar, becomes the one that saves us." Those words echoed in Adrian's mind. He finally looked at the sheet. His breath stopped. It was the original blueprint of Project Horizon, the low-income housing project he personally designed years ago but abandoned when profit-focused investors called it a waste of resources. The blueprint had his handwritten notes, his mother's quote written at the bottom: "Build for those who have nothing, and you'll never lose everything." Memories surfaced of his childhood in a broken neighborhood, his promise to himself to one day help families like his. "Where did you find this?" Adrian asked. Samir smiled softly. "You dropped it the day you showed it to the committee. They didn't want it, but I kept it safe. I thought a broken bar, maybe one day you'd need to remember why you started." Adrian stared at the janitor, stunned. That forgotten paper wasn't just a blueprint, it was the last pure thing he created before greed and ambition consumed him. And now, stripped of everything, he realized that a broken bar, this was his second chance. Over the next days, Adrian found himself at a homeless shelter, the same one he grew up near. Samir accompanied him, revealing something shocking. He had once lived in that shelter 2 years before he got the janitor's job. "You want to rebuild your life?" Samir asked. "Then rebuild theirs." And so Adrian began. He had no money, no company, no investors, but he had knowledge, experience, and a blueprint. With Samir by his side, he started pitching Project Horizon, and not to billionaires, but to NGOs, community centers, young architects, ex-employees who still believed in him. People who once feared him now heard his story and offered help. They saw a man humbled, broken, but determined. Slowly, brick by brick, sometimes literally, Adrian started building again. Not skyscrapers, but affordable homes, community kitchens, youth training centers, and somehow, because the project was genuine, donations flowed, volunteers joined, former partners returned. Articles appeared calling him the billionaire who rose by helping the broken. Months passed, then a year. One morning, standing on newly built land with families cheering around him, Adrian felt something he hadn't felt even at the height of his wealth. A peace. A minister approached him with news. The government wanted to partner with his project and expand it nationwide. Funding was restored, his reputation reborn, and overnight, the man who once lost his entire fortune regained something far greater: purpose, trust, and a future built on compassion. As cameras flashed and reporters swarmed him, Adrian looked to the side. There stood Samir, still in his janitor uniform, smiling proudly. Adrian walked over and hugged him tightly. "None of this would exist without you." Samir chuckled. "I only reminded you of who you really were, sir." A reporter nearby overheard and asked Samir, "What did you say to him that night he lost everything?" Samir replied with a soft smile, "I just told him a broken bar, sir. He forgot this one paper." Sometimes a small thing saves a big life. Adrian felt tears sting his eyes, not of pain, but gratitude. He turned to the camera and addressed the crowd and everyone watching. "If you're listening, a broken bar, remember this: you're never truly ruined as long as you have even one reason to start again. Even one person who believes in you. Even one forgotten paper that reminds you who you are. And that dust or broken bar is why you must never give up, no matter how dark the night gets." If this story inspired you, like the video, share it, and subscribe for more emotional, life-changing stories just like this. Apka ek like or ek subscribe hamina bibetrika hani in lane ki him at the